Australia, I'd go with horse racing. There's heaps. Or dog racing. There's
That
heaps.
Christmas, in December 2017, CoinSpot paid me $10,000 in
And that as
commissions.
well. Does the
So,
value of a miner decrease over
so
time?
total
Yes.
payout figure is just over $100,000 from affiliate marketing.
Welcome, everyone, to today's podcast. We're back here again on the Smoke Room podcast. My name's DC. We've got Ash and Bobby with us. And today we are talking about side hustles that actually work. Pretty interesting topic. Off the back of last week's topic, where we were talking about Australian real estate, and now we're talking about some side hustles that might actually help you to get ahead, to buy that property, to maybe just get ahead in life, maybe to pay some bills, whatever it is. That's the main focus on today. We have a few different main topic headers that all sort of fit under the side hustles at work, and these are all sort of based off experience. As always, none of this is actual financial advice. It's just a discussion between three guys who like trying to get ahead and doing investments and side hustles and things like that. So I might hand over. I'm turning a new leaf this week. Instead of taking the reins and talking for a solid hour myself, I'm going to hand over the reins to one of you guys to start on the first topic. Who wants to go first?
Not me.
Okay, it's Bobby then.
Let's go, Bobby.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I think we were gonna be talking about any new investments that we made this week. So I
Yes.
did make a new investment. I got a Canaan Avalon Q, which is a 90 terahash per second Bitcoin miner. I'm going to
Tasty.
be
Damn.
mining Bitcoin even more now.
Oh, was that so? Basically, Bobby got paid in the last week and spent his entire paycheck on a
Yeah, pretty
Bitcoin
much.
miner. Yeah. Okay. What's the like return on investment timeline? How long will it take to roughly get back that, give or take? Because I know it's a bit of a guesstimation.
306 days.
That's not bad.
Yeah,
Okay.
I did the
Well,
Nicely done,
calculations.
strong.
I worked it out with another guy who is mining all the time, and he's like, "Yeah, your numbers look good." So
okay.
should be less than a year.
Okay, that sounds promising. I'm keen to see you get that first million sats and basically be winning. And I mean that's sort of the main goal, right? Is to get a full coin.
Yeah, it is. It's gonna be a while, but yeah. And I
That's
gotta
all right.
get bigger miners and more miners to do that, but I'll get there.
Nice. Nice. How about you, Ash? What's been on your investment
Oh,
strategies over the last week?
I've none. Absolutely none, mate. So moving into a new house, working on the business. So time investment. It's investing my time into myself and my business. So yeah, that's a bit of a cop out, but that's where it's been the last week. Been
That's
fucking
still
busy.
investing. You're still investing in something. I'm kind of the same
Self-investment.
actually. I got paid this week as well, which is fantastic. I didn't buy a Bitcoin miner, and I didn't buy any Bitcoin this week either. For the first time in maybe 2 months, this is the first week I haven't put money into Bitcoin. Just because I feel like it's gonna go a bit lower, and I'm kind of banking up for that time when it does come. So the money that I got paid, I put into my offset accounts and to bring down the interest to save myself some money. But as far as that investments, it's really just been the same as Ash. Investing in discussions with all sorts of different people, trying to get some work over the line, winding up some other work just as we come closer to Christmas, and yeah, really just putting the time in to get the things done. So that's been
I think
me.
it's pretty, I mean, there's a lot in that, isn't it? So I think, the last 12 months starting a new business, things are going all right, but just this last month, I feel like the investments I made over the year in, just content, marketing, even conversations, is just starting to actually go somewhere. And January is looking like, pay month, right? So, yeah, I think, investing in those little things doesn't sound like much, but it's all rolling together.
Yeah, I've got literally everything crossed for January to go good. I think the next couple of weeks may potentially be the biggest weeks of my career, to be honest, or self-employed career anyway. But I hope so anyway. We'll see how everything goes and if it all goes well. But I've got good feelings and manifesting the good luck out of it all really. So that's cool. Let's get on to some of these side hustles that we were sort of making this whole podcast about this week, specifically the ones that have worked for ourselves and maybe some ideas on ones that we're either trying at the moment or want to try. Um, do you guys want to kick off with some side hustles that have actually worked over the past for you before we get into the present and future?
So I think we've touched on it a few times already that both you and I at least we've got few little side hustles going on here and there and over time and I think just from a background perspective I think when I was in high school I learnt how to create web pages, so HTML and CSS. So I love that stuff, and I kind of started learning that when I was around about 12 years old. Um, Started doing a bit of PHP, and then over time just started create websites and things, right? And then eventually started working full time, and then found a few people here and there would ask for a website. So it was kind of one of those things I just did on the side, took the cash, do a website, $500, and over time, I think I did one recently for, more like 5 grand. So yeah, I'm charging a little bit more now. So that's always kind of been something I've always kind of done. Certainly not a business or anything for me, but just helping people out with creating some of that content or just creating that web page, right? So a business website or even running things like forums and things like that. That's always been something I've kind of gravitated towards. How about you, Dave? I think you've done a few things like that too, haven't you?
Too many. You should have put a quote in
Too
for
many?
doing the bomb website, mate. They paid 98 or 96 grand or something for that thing.
Hey, I should
That's
have
a million,
put
sorry,
around
not
five
grand.
grand.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a few people who put some posts out about that. Like, they're like, "Oh, I'll charge you 20 grand. 10 grand of that 20 is going to go toward beer. The other 10 is actual work required to do it." So, yeah, but anyway, yeah, no, I've had a few different side hustles, and similar to you, I started doing web design when I was in high school just for a bit of fun. Um, Started with GeoCities, I think it was called, which was really
Oh
fun.
yeah, the
And
original.
yeah, it's really fun. And then some BB forums, and those were fun to build up.
Oh,
And
BB forums.
yeah, they were
Used to get
dope.
the old, remember the old Where's sites? Used to, we didn't
Yeah,
do this, of course, but
of course
Where's
not.
sites used to download these things. Like you go in there and you get a full, legitimate copy of BB forum, or there was another one like Ultimate Bulletin Board or something like that that
Yeah,
I used to use, or V Bulletin, I think it was.
V Bulletin was
That
popular too. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, I
yeah, they
remember
were
that was
good.
sick. I love
But
that.
yeah, lots of stuff like that. I actually had one of my first businesses that I ever had was a web design business that I started with a friend from high school. I won't say the name because it was horribly embarrassing, but we did have a few clients. We built some websites for some a kindergarten and some other like an accounting business and some other business. I can't remember who it was now. I think it was like oh, that's right. It was a an automotive magazine. They needed a website done. So yeah, a couple of it was good.
Automotive
Few
magazine. That's interesting.
yeah, it's called
I think. Yeah.
aaen.com.au. It was a mate of mine's dad who wanted
Yeah.
a
Okay.
website. Yeah.
Oh, mate, so I think halfway in that journey for me, I took over a website was all about cars and like car community, right? So I spent most of my 20s driving around in a hotted up little S15 200 SX and run off this car forum and yeah, there's a lot of stuff out of that that I was doing side hustle wise. So obviously running the forum, so there's bringing in sponsorships, but also I was running a car parts business as well. So obviously to get myself cheaper car parts really. So
That's
I
dope.
want a new
Yeah.
turbo, new ECUs, things like that. So I just go and register with like Haltech, and there was a company that sold like Garrett turbos here in Brisbane, and
Yeah.
just little places like that, and then
Is that the one over near
get their
Archerfield?
catalogs. Yeah, yeah, MTQ.
I know
Yeah,
the
yeah,
one.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's the
yeah.
one.
I went there
Yeah,
to get
they
my
used to do.
second turbo for my Rexy when yeah, I think we had a really similar upbringing, completely separate from each other until we're like what, 30 or something. But
Yeah.
yeah, how bizarre. We had like really similar
Oh,
interests.
yeah.
But
Man,
anyway,
I sold so many Haltech ECUs like off the forum, right? And I remember getting so I was getting like a full wholesale discount on the ECUs, right, and reselling these things. But
yeah.
because I was selling them cheaper, people were actually buying the ECU. They would go into their performance tuner, like the workshop or whatever, and going, here's the ECU. Can you install it and tune it and everything? And all the performance tuners were getting the shits because they were missing out on that
Yeah.
that nice little bit of money, I guess. So yeah, that didn't last long, but that was good fun. It made a little bit of money, so it was good.
Nice. Yeah, a few other ones apart from the web design stuff. I've had a few interesting ones. I had a vape shop once called brisbanevape.com. Um, I was basically just selling reselling vape liquid without nicotine, um, and to keep it legal. And I was also selling like the equipment itself. So I was going to it's basically drop shipping. I was just buying stuff from China, but I would buy like group buys, but I would buy the whole group buy myself and then just resell the vape equipment itself through that. Made a bit of money. It was good. I needed that money at the time. Lots of other random stuff, recharging Lime scooters, which I think I've mentioned before, which is
Oh, we
weirdly
need
how
the
I
photo.
met you. Yeah, I'll see if I can find it real quick while I'm talking. But yeah, a few other ones. There was a startup about it was called AirDesker. It was a micro co-working space where I was basically setting up co-working spaces out of restaurants and bars and hotels and stuff like that, which was very interesting. A very interesting setup. What else? I've had a computer shop at one point. It wasn't a side hustle per se, but when I first started it, it was a side hustle and then quickly became an actual business, like brick and mortar business where I was running that. Here's a photo of my one bedroom apartment with me and about 1,000 bloody scooters in it, um, recharging. I was recharging them all. So that's my lounge room and kitchen. And yeah, I had they were just everywhere. These scooters were all over the place. So that actually made some good money. I've done Uber Eats. It's a bit of a side hustle. Make a bit of money. That was good. Uh, what else? I worked in a burger shop for a while I was working at a high school. So I was a network administrator at a high school, and I was also working as a burger maker for a while, just cash in hand. They weren't paying any tax or anything like that. They were doing a dodgy, but that was fine with me. I just needed cash. Um, oh, what else have I done? I've so many random businesses like this uh, throughout the years, like working in bars and all sorts of. So lots of like jobs at the same time. Um, Nothing super crazy like reselling ECUs though, but some interesting ones in the mix there for sure. How about you, Bobby? What's have you had a dabble in the old side project, side hustle theme before?
Yeah, a lot like y'all. I have done a lot of website development for local businesses.
Hell yeah.
I've also kind of gone deeper in that and actually done some web app development. I made some dashboards for a telephone company. That was remote, but yeah, that was pretty cool. I did a bunch of Uber and Uber Eats, DoorDash, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yep.
Is there
Nice.
do you guys have like a favorite? Like what's the probably your most favorite thing as a side hustle you've done and why?
I know which was my favorite. Definitely
Lime
Air
scooters.
Desker. No, no, no. Because you had to fight sometimes, and you had to like fight against like a lot of bogans to pick up the scooters. So as they went like into the maintenance time where you could pick them up, it was like a mad rush. So yeah, no, not definitely not that. It was definitely AirDesker, uh, because through that we won a bunch of awards and some funding to go travel and set it up in other places. I've still got the access points. I've got about 50 access points at my parents' house in a big box. They're all stickered up. They're all ready to go, configured. They're just sitting there blank at the moment. But yeah, we got like flights to Hong Kong, Singapore, and a few other places, and with full business lounge setups. So we still had to pay for some of the flights, but there was like a flight budget. So that was my favorite because I had so much fun doing it. It was like my dream. I just got to set up communities which is something I really love doing, in random new places around the world. It was incredible while it lasted until COVID killed it. So yeah, that was my favorite.
My favorite was probably making the web apps because it was the first time I really didn't know what I was doing, so I was forced to learn a lot very quickly, and it's made me a better person.
Hell yeah. Was that the web apps
I love
or
that.
the dashboards, or is it the same thing?
Yeah, the dashboards.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. How about you, Ash? What was your favorite out of the ones you've tried?
Oh. So one of probably my favorites, probably for all the wrong reasons. Back in I think it was about 2018, 20 no, I think it was 2018. Um, there was a hackathon. I'm pretty sure it was run out of Bank of Queensland. So they did this thing on the weekend, and I didn't go to it, but I consumed all the content. So there was a whole bunch of slide decks and videos and links and all that kind of stuff. And I got my hands on all that. And the guy who presented it, he had created a website called Kanye Texts. Now, I'm not sure if you've heard of it, but the idea, the concept was quite simple. You basically go on there, you tap someone's phone number in, you pay 15 bucks, whatever, and it just sends out Kanye West lyrics, like just random text messages to people, right? So I took it a bit further. I called mine Tay Tay Text, so Taylor Swift,
Oh my God.
and took Taylor Swift lyrics, and I basically created this big spreadsheet full of one-liners. And then people would come on, they loving this. Yeah, chuck in 10 bucks, whatever, and it would send, 10 of the most, I don't know, unhinged Taylor Swift one-liners, right? So I can't even think of any off the top of my head, but it just sent it as a text message. Nothing. Just the one line of text. And people
I
would be like,
remember those. Here we had ones about like Chuck Norris jokes, and
Yeah.
those were fun.
I had
it
one.
was pretty fun.
It's still on GitHub. If anyone wants to search for it, it's called Rickroll Caller. And basically, you
Oh,
typed in a number into this script, and it would use like an IP telephony system for a free reverse call. So it wasn't really
yeah.
free. It would charge them, but it'd play Rick Astley's "Never Gonna Give You Up" as soon as someone answered the phone.
Oh, nice.
It's so annoying.
Oh,
But yeah, it's still on GitHub if anyone wants to have a crack at
oh,
revitalizing
lads,
that.
look,
But it's good fun.
I've just found it. I shared it on Product Hunt. I love a bit of Product Hunt, right? So check this out. This is the page. So quite literally, these are some of the lyrics. Can you imagine getting this in your text messages? Was it worth it? Was she worth this? I don't know
So
how to be
good.
something you miss. It's like stalker
Oh,
lyrics,
that's
right? It's
hilarious.
That's the
crazy.
best, yeah.
Um,
Stalker crazy
it's,
ex-girlfriend lyrics. This is so good.
But this is where it
That's
was different,
funny.
right? So this is what I was doing. So I was like, okay, let's anonymize the response and post it on Twitter. So the person who had actually set it up, they were getting all the responses via the Twitter page, right? So it was hilarious. And then
New
I
number,
think
who dis?
in in the end, I had to kill it off though. Unfortunately, it was I got a few messages popped up there on the Twitter, and it was like I'm calling the police and things like that. I was like, oh, okay,
Danger
this
zone.
probably
Yeah,
is danger zone.
probably
So
times.
cut that pretty quick. Like it made a good little I think it made like $500 just over the first week, and then that happened. I was just like, nah, that's not cutting that off.
Cutting it out. Yeah,
Not
it's
good.
too dangerous. This reminds me of another really great business that I wish was mine, um, called Bag of Dicks. And basically, you would
Oh, I love
buy
that.
these like lolly dicks, or like sweets, candy, whatever you want to call it, whatever country you're in. These little chewable gummy dicks. But you could also buy like confetti dicks. So it'd be like you open
Like
an
for
envelope,
bachelorette parties, like
yeah,
those.
and it would explode
Yeah.
dicks. So the idea behind it would I sent it to heaps of people. I sent it to a HR department once, and it popped confetti all through their office. I have a long history of HR departments, but anyway, which is one of the many reasons why I don't like working for other people anymore. But yeah, it like popped, like they opened it in the office and it's like, and this confetti dicks go everywhere. And then there's like a letter in there. It's like someone would like for you to eat a bag of dicks. Have a great day. So good.
That's
What a great
funny.
business. Yeah. Still going, by the way, if you ever want to send someone a bag of dicks. Anyway,
There's a whole bunch of those really cringe ones. Like, yeah, I'm not even going to mention it, but there's
there's
some other
heaps.
ones out there.
There's some good ones. That one's probably the most tame, but yeah, it's up there. Let's get on to some of the future planned out side hustles, ones that we've maybe tried or even just discussion points. First one being fully passive side hustles. Is that even a possibility? Or is it maybe like a bit of a unicorn? Is it something that it does kind of exist, but it's really hard to make it work?
Oh, I think it's almost impossible. Almost impossible. You got to do something, right? I think there's this dream that you can make money by doing nothing, and there is an act. I think there is a space where people can do that. And I think if you've got, say, a massive following, so say you got like 100,000 people who follow you, and then you go and create a book, then that you sell that book, and that book might be a passive income then, right? But you've still got that active role
Still have to write
as
the
an
book.
influencer or whatever. Yeah, you still got to write the book, and I think that's fine, right? But you've got to do that initial bit, whatever it is. So, and then it becomes passive. But I think as an author, like if you're creating books, you still have to be active as a community leader or something
Very
to
much.
drive people to your book. Because I don't think you can just like set it and forget it. That's one thing I think people probably don't think about that. It's like, yeah, you can go create the book. People might buy the books on Amazon, whatever, and it's getting reviews and all that kind of stuff. But I think you still kind of have to promote these kind of things, and there's a little bit of active work there. And unless you start going down the path of creating a little business around it, having some virtual assistants or something like that, maybe then it can become quite passive. But I think there's still a level of action you have to take, in my mind.
Absolutely. The most passive business that I've been able to operate, is, and as someone with a fairly decently sized following online, the book idea has crossed my mind 1,000 times. Monetizing that community, but people smell a sale real quick and they will turn away from you even faster. So you got to be really careful with that kind of stuff. But yeah, onto the most passive thing I have is unfortunately the one that costs the most amount of money to start, which is the having rental properties. That's at the moment fully passive. Like I had to buy the properties, I had to do them up. Was any of that passive? No, absolutely not. I had to spend lots of time and money to to buy the property, to do it up, to make it all good for living. But once it's rented, then it is pretty much very passive. Like
Hands
every
off.
now and then you get, yeah, it's very hands off. I get an email from the property manager every now and then who'll say, um, there's a pipe that's loose, or the shower head needs changing, or might need changing soon. Do you want me to get a plumber out? There's some light bulbs that are burst. You want to get an electrician out? Something like, and you just say yes or no. So that's like,
Mm.
it's pretty passive. Um, it's
I,
about
I
as
still call
passive
that
as it
passive,
gets for
right?
me.
Yeah,
Uh,
because I guess when you think about passive, it's not you're not the one actioning that stuff. It's coming to you. You're kind of reacting to it, in a very passive kind of way. So everything's just kind of happening in the background, and then when there's an issue, it's being escalated to you. And I think that's fine, right?
that
That's
is
very passive.
passive. It's super passive, but it's also the one that costs the most to get started. So
Mm,
not really for everyone. And this was all about like side hustles that actually make money. So have I made a return on my investments as far as property is concerned? Yeah, I have off capital gains, but that's not always the case. Um, the mortgages pay for themselves through the money that comes in, and like I've mentioned before, they're all sort of positive geared, which is wonderful. But does it really make money? Is it something that's
mm.
working?
Well, I think
Yes and no
one of the
in the long
other
term, yeah.
one of the other terms that gets thrown out. So we talk about passive, but yeah, we say passive investment, but we also talk about passive income as well, right? So do we want to differentiate between the two? Because I think with passive income, but I think that's almost a very different term, right? Because you're talking about income that just keeps coming in, and yes, with I guess the investment properties, you've got that through rents and things like that. Um, like, do you think if there are any other ways that you can get that passive income stream? Like, are there any other ideas you've had or anything you're playing with in that space?
In regards to property or just anything.
Just income, like it's just that income stream, right? So creating an income stream that just keeps trickling in without you having to touch it.
There is one that I've played with the idea of before, which is creating uh, books using AI and then selling those books on a website by promoting them through meta ads. So once you sort of set it up, then it potentially is passive. You can also do that kind of with drop shipping if you do it the right sort of way. Like if you can go directly to the factory that it's made from, for example, which is another idea I'm playing with at the moment, but haven't fully put into play yet. Um, but same sort of thing. It's just a website with products, just like the other one is a website with a book on it. And the book costs,
Hmm.
I don't know, $3, $4, whatever it is. I don't know, maybe $5 for a book. And then you pump a whole bunch of ads to it from Meta that are really high engaging ads. And yeah, I mean, it's not really passive until it works. So you still have to run through the tests of how to make those ads work, how to make them super high click to get people to go through and buy it. And I'm really targeting like boomers, like my parents, for example. Those sort of people, like writing a book with AI about diabetes and how to, um, you know, strategies that'll help you or something like that. Really clickbaity things. Um, so yeah, maybe of the another idea I've tried in the past actually, and I just thought of was this whole like YouTube cash cow thing. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of it, but it's basically like faceless videos, and I saw like heaps of
Oh
ads about
yeah.
it, and I was like, yeah, fuck it, I'll give it a try. So I started making these like faceless videos, um, by basically using clips of other videos that existed. This is before AI existed and or like ChatGPT, for example. And I had one called Trick Shots, and it would basically be like compilation videos of really awesome trick shots that people were doing, where where they throw a ping pong ball across the room and it bounces off a
Mm,
whole bunch of
Dude, perfect.
saucepans and stuff. Yeah,
Oh
dude,
yeah.
perfect stuff. Just grabbing like compilation videos of those and making those, and it went all right. I got about 2,000 subscribers out of it, and it still gets a lot of clicks because it's just like random stuff that people watch. But yeah, it wasn't really like wasn't very successful. I think it made like maybe I don't know $200 a year or something in total. So not much to report home with.
Yeah, I feel like that
Not
stuff
bad.
would be really good on like YouTube Shorts or Instagram Reels, but I don't think it would pay that much.
No.
I think if you can get into maybe the kids niche is where it's at. So there's
Yep.
dumb videos that your kids are just playing at 5 a.m. in the morning, 6 a.m. on YouTube. You'll get to know this in a few years, guys. But I've got a few kids, um, and they wake up in the morning. First thing they do, YouTube, and other end of the house, all I can hear is these kids opening boxes of toys and rubbish and unboxing videos. And the parents who are creating these videos are killing it with their kids, just opening videos. Like it'll be like this round thing, and kid opens it up, and it's like an Easter egg kind of thing. They open it up, and it's like, oh, this stupid little toy, and they're just unboxing these things over and over again, and they're killing it on YouTube. That's
That's
stupid.
wild.
I want some of that.
I did try this as well. So I've tried a lot of random YouTube things before. So I had a storybook that I created called The Pig of Happiness. This is a story that no one knows about, and it was like a cartoon series of a pig who was like eternally happy. It was the pig of happiness, and he was just like blissfully happy. And it was kind of fun in the way that like he was so happy it was a bit like special. But the other kids or the other pigs or whatever, the other animals, um, just thought he was like a really happy dude. But like yeah, anyways, it was really backwards. But yeah, I made these like random like Flash videos because I didn't know how to do anything else. So I was using Adobe Flash Creator to make like these really cheap Flash clips out of it. I could probably do it now with AI in about half a second and be amazing. But maybe we'll see a return of
Yes.
the Pig of Happiness. Who knows?
Oh mate, that's funny as this. I'm just Googling it, and someone else has created a book now called The Peak of Happiness,
Oh,
and
of
he
course I
is so
have.
happy.
He is
And
so
copied your
happy.
idea.
Yeah, that's exactly it. That was the title. Is that it's this is the
Mate, I
pig of
reckon
happy. It
they've
just has
ripped
a
off your
picture of him and
flash.
he's like he is so happy. It's like a pig smiling. I've got it. Oh man, I've got a notebook here somewhere with the like original drawings and everything. Anyway, that's another story for another time of like random shit we've done in the past maybe. Um
Well, if
so
someone's made a book about it, I guess next week will be how passive is a lawsuit.
yeah, that'd be all right. Yeah. Spoken like a true American. I love it, Bobby. Let's sue this
Love it.
motherfucker. Oh man, that's so good.
Anything for the income.
Yeah. There's
That's
I
funny.
know a guy who is like a friend of mine's uncle who was he's a lawyer, a barrister or something, and his whole shtick was just suing people for like false advertisement. So he'd find websites that had like they would advertise something wrong, he'd buy the service, whatever it was, and if it didn't exactly match what the advertisement was, he would sue them. That was his whole thing. Absolute prick of a dude. But I bet he'd be real fun at a party. But yeah, anyway, on to the next topic. We had one option here which Ash mentioned at some point during the week in the group chat, which was automated sports betting. Tell us about this idea, mate. I want to
Oh,
hear this.
so I was at I do some business coaching, and we had a bloke come in this week in our business coaching meeting, and yeah, we were talking about wellness and resilience, and so it was a really good session for all of the other CEOs in our group to kind of learn about, well, not learn about, but retouch on, I guess, wellness, and especially leading up to Christmas. I think it's a really, good time of year to look at that. So yeah, de-stressing and taking a bit of a break and stuff like that. But the bloke who was running it, he's a South African guy, and he's got a son, and he's saying that his son's just smashes work out on his computer, and he's saying I don't know if it's the same son or another one, but one of them had started up this sports betting thing with AI, and I think it was a bit arguable whether it was ethical or not, but the idea was that he was using AI to effectively beat the house, so beat the bookies to basically make something like $1.5 million in the last year. And I was like,
Holy
that
shit.
is $1.5 million. Okay, how can I get in on this? Like, which AI is this? This not ChatGPT, is it? So I did a bit of research into different models and stuff, and I did do some ChatGPT around how could I build a model around sports betting, and how could then I apply that, and where would I apply that to, things like, sports bet and stuff. Sports bet's kind of just like the go-to here in Australia, but where and how could you potentially apply that? And I think. It's pretty tricky. I don't know how they're doing this, but I think at the end of the day, it all just comes down to data and analytics around the data that you've got, and being able to very quickly make a decision. So you're effectively using all the data, all the AI to effectively help you come to a decision to say, hey, these three races or these three sports events, whatever they are, these are some of the odds that are on, sports bets, or I don't know what other betting sites or whatever are around, but these are some of the ones that we think are highly likely you're going to win on, right? Because you need to have a reliable way of winning, or getting some sort of return almost, every time, at least 50% of the time, right? Because otherwise you're losing money. So obviously the higher that number is, whether it's 70% or 80%, I don't think you're going to get much better than that. Certainly 70%, I think, is a very high number to winning all the time. But yeah, that's kind of the idea, right? And I'm sure people are looking at AI right now and going, hey, how can I apply AI so that I can win the lotto? And I don't think I think that's impossible. But um, actually, I don't know. I think it's impossible. But someone actually did this the other week. They actually went, hey, give me some lotto numbers, and then they went to the lotto, whatever lotto it was, and they chucked all those numbers in, and they won $100,000. I'm like,
Damn.
that's pretty cool. Um, there's no science at all behind that. That's just random numbers. But
That's luck, though. That's just pure
yeah, that's
luck.
pure luck, pure nasty luck. But it's on the sports betting side, I think there's potentially something there. I think it's a bit like counting cards, though, right? So, if you went to a casino, you started counting cards on the blackjack tables, they're going to kick you out. So, what's stopping? If you start doing something like this, and then on sports bet or whatever, and you start winning a lot of money, you're probably going to get you're going to piss them off pretty quickly, right? And they're going to, ban your account and whatever. So maybe even recoup some of those funds that you've won. So I think it's a really interesting area. I don't know if I'm going to pursue it or not, but yeah. Have you ever played with any of that kind of stuff before, Dave or Bobby?
I haven't, no.
I mean, you play on Bitcoin, so that's kind of sports betting, right? So,
I'm not a gambling man, apart from cryptocurrency, where I just buy
I was
them
about to
and
say,
hold
so
on
it's the
to them.
Bitcoin owner.
But yeah, no, not really. How about you, Bobby?
No, no sports betting, just Bitcoin, no other cryptos. But I have heard of like arbitrage that you can do with sports betting. So all these companies, I think they're independent, so they get their odds independently. And if you can see differences between two different betting companies, you can bet those against each other. I don't know
Yeah,
if
it's an
it
interesting topic.
works, but I've heard it's possible.
I think, yeah, like if you Google around, there's a lot of stuff, a lot of people talking about this stuff, and they're all using like the match betting. So when you sign up to these sports betting websites, you typically will go put $100 bet on it, and they'll give you $100 of credit, or give you a free $100 bet or something like that. So a lot of them are using that to their advantage, I think. I think you've got to churn a lot of accounts potentially to get that $100 credit over and over and over again, potentially. But yeah, and then the arbitrage part, like where the odds come in, like you might have one sports bet agency saying, we're going to bet, you know, the odds are 2 to 1 for horse one, and 3 to 1 for horse two or something, and then on the other website it might be around the other way. So you might put a bet on both sides so that you kind of get the same odds or something like that. I'm not sure how it works, but
Very interesting. I wonder if I think the way to do it, or how I would think about doing it, is to pick one type of sport or betting vertical. So horse racing, dog racing, um, I don't know, whatever you bet on sports bet. I haven't used it since. I mean, there's like rugby and AFL and all that sort of stuff as well. But
there's a bit of everything on there now. You can even bet on politics. So there's
really,
lots of stuff.
yeah, of course,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm not surprised.
I
But
would say
yeah,
Australia moment, but also the US is becoming that really quick.
yeah. Australia does love a good punt. But yeah, I don't know. I think I'd probably pick like one sport with a lot of data. So that would probably be in Australia. I'd go with horse racing. There's heaps, or dog racing. There's heaps and heaps of data, but there's probably more for horse racing. Because you can get
Certainly
information about the
even
jockeys and the horses themselves and
mm,
the trainers and the field conditions, the weather, the whatever. Does this horse do well in this weather? And you just have to ask those sort of questions very carefully to whatever chat GPT model it is that you're asking to give it. I mean, I'd give this a try, to be honest. I think it'd be fun. I'd be happy to put in like a couple of $100 and see how it goes, and if it goes well, then fantastic. And I think the way to avoid getting banned for these sort of things, and now that I've said this on a podcast, if I ever do this, they might come back and say, hey, you talked about this, so here's the means behind the crime. But is it a crime to use data that exists to place a bet? I don't know.
surely not.
I
Surely not.
don't
Isn't
think
that what the
so.
bookies do? They're all using data to influence their odds, right? So
Exactly. But a way to get around that, apart from the legal mumbo jumbo of it all, is to lose every now and then as well. So put in if you win 5 grand, put a $200 bet on something that you know is going to lose and hope it
oh,
actually does lose. Otherwise, you're up shit
on
creek. But
that
yeah.
on that note, we have to mention that bloke on, I don't know if he's on Instagram or YouTube, whatever he is, but his whole thing is he will bet, I think it's 5 cents for every follower that he's got on the favorite for the day on whatever race. So
Oh,
he
what a
walks into
legend.
the
See
he
Australian?
walks into yeah, he walks into TAB
Of
every
course he
morning
is.
and
Yeah.
say he's got
Of
like,
course.
I think he's got like
Yeah.
100,000 followers, right? So he puts what, 5 cents for every, or maybe he's got a million. So I think he's betting something like 50 grand or something. He'll walk in there with 50 grand and he'll slap it on the favorite on whatever race it is for the day. So he's taken the bookies, not the bookies, the professional punters tips in the paper or whatever. He's going for the favorite and going, here, chuck 50 grand on this and then see what comes up.
Holy
And then
shit.
the rest of his video, so he's walked in, he's like, oh, g'day, Stace, like the chick that's there every day.
Of course.
And then he goes 50 grand on number 8 on race 4 or whatever today. And then he walks out with the ticket and then he goes home and he's sitting in front of the TV and he's like, yeah, okay, on the TV. And then horse loses. So
Oh
it's
no.
just away 50 grand. But he does it, he's been doing this every day for like every year or something. And I think he's down. I think he's down a lot, but when it wins big. But when it loses, oh my God, yeah,
Wow. This is the difference between gambling on something like Bitcoin compared to gambling like an asset class rather than a horse not fucking breaking a leg in a race because of some muddy conditions. I think I'm safer. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Maybe I'm delusional. Am I safer off putting my money into Bitcoin than gambling? I don't know. It's worked out so
Yes.
far for me. Worked
A
out pretty
hundred
well.
percent.
It's definitely worked out better for me so far compared to,
I
although I
reckon, I
did win
reckon,
the Work Melbourne Cup this year, so awesome.
Ooh. I
60
reckon,
bucks. Yeehaw.
like this video if you think Bitcoin's safer, subscribe if you think horse racing is better.
Yeah, and
Done.
drop a comment if you think we're absolutely batshit insane
Delulu.
on either of the Delulu on either of these options. I feel like such a cretin saying Delulu, but anyway, On to the next topic. Away from sports betting, I think we've done that one to death, beaten the horse to death, so to say. Jobs similar to what you do at work. This is one that I'll talk about because it's something that I've done lots of, is running up businesses that are very similar, if not exactly the same as to what I do um, at work. It starts off as a good side hustle, and you do a little bit of work here, a bit of freelance consulting, and sometimes it takes off and you get a lot of work in. Sometimes you don't put enough effort into it and it doesn't eventuate into much. Is that something you guys have tried before as well? Like doing something similar to, or even exactly the same as what your
Mm.
main job is, and doing that as a side hustle?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, just 2 years ago, I think it was. I do IT for a living, and my brother is a veterinarian, and he just works at a small town vet shop. So they don't have an IT guy. So I just did some consulting for them.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, nice.
How about you,
That's how
Ash?
it works. Yeah, I think oh mate, my last job actually yeah, the company wasn't going so great. Um bit of cash flow issues, and the owner of the business kind of said to me, "Hey, can you drop down to 4 days a week, and you're gonna have to make up the extra on that fifth day a week. You're gonna have to go grab a contract or whatever." So that was the start of my actual current business, right? So I started that business to fill that 1 day a week. And very quickly, I came across a client. I became their virtual CISO, spent 1 day a week working with them, CISO kind of stuff, right? So creating policies, doing a bit of ISO 27001 work, working
Sweet.
on some incident stuff. Yeah, it worked out pretty well. And yeah, when I decided to leave that job, yeah, that just became my day job with my new business. So I think that worked out pretty well. Here I am today. I'm still running that business, and I think it went pretty well.
Nice. It's always a good decision. I think some of these, like people say, as one door closes, another one opens, etc. Those sort of sayings. But I think once you sort of get yourself into the deep end of things, like you're really in a position of make or break. I need to make this work, or it's not going to go so well for me in the future. Then that's when you really start pushing yourself ahead and making some big changes in life for the better. Most of the time, from what I see anyway, as someone who runs a sort of educational business for people starting consultancies, I see a lot of this. This is like my everyday of helping people to get those things off the ground. Bobby, I want to ask you, because you put a note in here for Bitcoin mining as a side hustle. Tell me all about it. How does that work as a side hustle, mate?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's fairly passive income. You definitely have miners go down, you have to fix them and such. But yeah, if you just want to start off home mining with like a BitX or an Avalon Q like I just got, that's a good way to get started. Get a couple of those so you get that consistent like couple 100,000 sats coming in. And then you go up to bigger miners if you have like a garage with maybe 240-volt power, or you just live in Australia where they have that. Yeah, you can run bigger miners, and then also you can get them hosted. There's a lot of hosting companies here in America. I don't know if there's any in Australia, but it's worldwide, so you can get them hosted wherever.
Yeah, right. It's such an interesting concept to me. I've thought so many times about getting one of those, like the one-shot miners. I see so much advertisement for that. And I love the idea of like some of these really small, like the ant miners. You can get like a little bay for them and buy like 10 of them and stack them up as like this little like array of mini miners. And I love the idea of it. I don't know if it's useful or not, or if I'd ever get my money back. Um, but the thing is, these things are expensive and they do cost money to run, um, obviously, in electricity. But from what you were saying earlier at the start of this pod, is that you're sort of likely to make your money back on what you spent in around a year's time. Is that, I have a question about that. Is that at the current price of of Bitcoin, or is that with future projections of what the price action might get to or be?
Yeah, so of course, going into any business venture, you need to do calculations first to see that if it's even profitable. But yeah, so I know everyone says never sell your Bitcoin, but it's fine to sell your Bitcoin to buy Bitcoin miners if you're going to make more Bitcoin. So just do the calculations based on your energy rate, how much you pay per kilowatt hour, and how much the miners draw. I know the Avalon Q, it has three separate modes where it draws less power but also makes less Bitcoin. So yeah, just do the calculations for that, see if it's going to be profitable, and then pull the trigger if it is.
Nice. Okay, because I'm looking at the price of Bitcoin at the moment. It's 90,400 US dollars for a single Bitcoin. Something I've been practicing mentally recently, though, is not counting so much the price of Bitcoin or that I have, but more counting how many sats I have, because I think that's a mentally it's a an easier way to cope, especially as the price goes down. Um, and as my goal is to not so much have a monetary value of Bitcoin, but to just have one single Bitcoin, that's sort of what I'm aiming towards is just having that one Bitcoin and that many sats, because I feel like if the world goes the way it will, and this is a little bit of a segue into next week's segment, which is this the end of cash in Australia? There's been a lot of discussion about the end of cash, like hard cash in Australia being a thing, and that it's going to be all digital currency. Would it not then be a smart idea to, and I'll go full circle here, to then get into Bitcoin mining so that you're generating your own Bitcoin, but also to buy as much, potentially buy as much Bitcoin as you can with the fiat that you have? Is that a really good side hustle that actually works and in the long term will make money? This is something I've thought about a lot because I feel like as I look at trends around the world, I look at populations going down. Now, as someone who owns property, I rely on population growth as well as not having too many things being built because then it floods the competition. Whereas at the moment, there's lots of people and no property. So I'm in a very good place. But will I still be in a very good place in 20 years when the population really starts declining in, for example, Australia, where I have property? Um, so then you wouldn't want to get too heavy into property. You would want to get closer into or diversifying your potential income. And Bitcoin is the other immediate choice for me in that regards. And I think a lot of other people might have that same sort of mental approach to this as everything happens. I'm not a property maxi or a Bitcoin maxi or a stock maxi, Nvidia lover or anything like that. I'm sort of trying to
Just a
get a little
boomer.
bit in everything. Just a boomer, yeah, apparently. Um, so yeah, I'm trying to get my hands in every pie here, at least in one way or a little bit in everything to see. But I think Bitcoin is probably the one that's going to go the furthest. So maybe Bitcoin mining is good for people out there to make some cash back. And a question I have around that as well, does the value of a miner decrease over time?
Yes, it does.
How fast is that? Because that's a major concern. I don't want to spend like 5 grand on a miner, make back the money in 1 year, and then after that, it's just accumulating energy costs and not worth
Dust.
running. Yeah. Then what do I do?
Well, you have to look at the halving. So every 4 years there's a halving, so less Bitcoin gets issued as far as the Bitcoin subsidies. Now that can change with transaction fees, but transaction fees have been very low lately, so I wouldn't count on that. We can do an episode on that because I haven't really looked into it. I know that in America you can write off the depreciation 100% on your first year. So that
Okay.
helps out a lot, but I'm not sure if Australia lets you do the same thing.
Yeah, the ruling around stuff like that, and I'm not a tax lawyer, but I believe it is if you purchase a tool to earn an income, then that's a deductible expense, right? You can depreciate it as an asset. You can depreciate it.
This is an interesting one because then you could, if you think about countries where energy costs are super low, but you could hook up a lot of solar energy to make back your costs, but still can run a business from there. And where Bitcoin or cryptocurrency has a 0% tax on it. I can think of one place, and that's Thailand. Energy costs are super low there. They're super, super low. Um, and there's lots of sun because it's a tropical area. So, I mean, lots of sun and rain. But yeah, I mean, it's basically a jungle. And there's 0% tax on crypto. Potential. That's a good idea. Yeah, maybe
Yeah,
start a Bitcoin farm.
I know here in the States, a lot of the mining is done in Iowa. I don't know how their taxes are because I just live in Texas, but their energy is really low because I think they have a lot of solar, wind, and hydro. Yeah, so it's very cheap there. So there's a lot of hosted miners that are in Iowa.
Interesting. It's a shame you can't do Bitcoin mining in China because the energy costs here are like next to nothing. It's so cheap here for energy. But anyway, there's lots of
Just
things you
start
can't
your
do in
own,
China, so yeah.
create your own cryptocurrency.
Yeah, that's always a good idea. I'd
Oh
rather
yeah,
not.
because
Yeah,
that never gets rug pulled.
that's never
Uh,
been done before. Yeah.
Not at
Call it
all.
call it smut coin or something. It's probably already exists. Let's get on to the next topic. We've got some affiliate marketing discussion to talk about. This is something that I have tried before through my YouTube channel and social accounts to do different types of affiliate marketing. Sometimes it's gone well, sometimes not so much. Most of the time, I got paid more from making the video about the topic that I'm talking about than I did from the affiliate rewards for that item. So yeah, I don't know. What's your guys' approach to affiliate marketing?
I love affiliate marketing. I've never been able to make it work except for once, and that is the story. So this is kind of where my whole cryptocurrency journey kind of, I'm going to say, revolves around too. So back in the 2017 crypto run, when Bitcoin first went to about 20 grand, right? Um, it wasn't just Bitcoin that was actually going up. It was also Ethereum. Ethereum had just been kind of, gone mainstream, and it started out, it was around $30, $40 when I kind of first bought it. I came across a website called CoinSpot, which is an Australian website. And I, purchased my first little bit of Ethereum on that website. There was another website at the time called BTC Markets, so you could kind of purchase off either of those. Um, and I just read a blog post about it, like where do you buy Ethereum in Australia? And that started something. So I created that blog post, posted it on Reddit, posted on a few different places, posted it on Whirlpool, and basically, so I linked it all back to my website, and that website, I actually kept that article up to date. And after a few days, I came across CoinSpot and realized, hey, they've got a affiliate program. Let's just copy the link for that, chuck it on the blog post, see what happens. So I updated my blog post, and very quickly I started earning commissions on other people buying crypto. So people were clicking on my link, they're going, registering on CoinSpot, and then buying Bitcoin or Ethereum or whatever. And so over the first month, I think I earned like $100 or something, right? Um, but very quickly, it went from being just $100 to $200. And by the end of 2017, that Christmas when it was up to what Bitcoin had gone up to 20,000 by that point. That Christmas, December 2017, CoinSpot paid me $10,000 in commissions. So I've gone from creating nothing, but just having a
10,000.
blank blog post to $10,000 in 1 month. So at that point, that Christmas, I was like, fuck this shit. Like, I'm just going to go all in creating affiliate marketing for my website. So I basically rebranded my website, created a whole brand new website, redirected everything to this new website, and just created articles comparing different crypto exchanges. So BTC Markets, CoinSpot, SwiftX, all the different um, exchanges here in Australia, and just created this monster page basically. And almost all of them had affiliate links. And unfortunately, CoinSpot's the only one that ever took off. And to this day, I'm still earning commissions from CoinSpot. Last month, I have a payout of just $1,000. It's not 10 grand, but to give you an idea, yeah, it's still giving, roughly anywhere between 500 to $1,000 a month, and it's been doing that since 2017. So total payout figure is just over $100,000 from affiliate marketing, just from one
Holy
blog
shit.
post. So
Still
yeah,
pretty good.
That's fantastic.
I would.
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome. Um, I haven't been able to repeat that though. So yeah, affiliate marketing doesn't work. In this case, yes, it did. Have I been able to replicate it? No. I would love to be able to figure out how to create more of that and do more of that. But I think I was just lucky to be in the right place at the right time. No one in Australia knew how to buy Ethereum at the time, and Ethereum was, making news headlines and things like that. And I was posting this thing everywhere, including, Whirlpool and things like that, and it got picked up. There was, I'm just looking at the stats now, 800 people signed up. Of that, 35 still trade on CoinSpot. So those 35 who still trade are still bringing me in $500 a month thereabouts. So
Damn.
that's pretty. I think
Did they give it to
that's
you
the
in
ideal.
Ethereum or like credit on your
No,
account or what?
it's just credit. Comes in as cash, so I can withdraw it. I can buy, crypto. I can do whatever I want. So, um,
Nice.
yeah, it's kind of just. It's been a nice little windfall.
Hmm.
It's certainly made me go, oh hey, I've got to go get an actual accountant now. So 2017 or 2018, I think it was, I had to go see an accountant for the first time and put this stuff all through my company. And yeah, that hurt, but paying tax on that. But yeah, it was yeah, it kind of just gave me some ideas around affiliate marketing. I haven't really put anything into place, so I really want to. I think that's something I want to spend more time on. And it's not affiliate marketing like Dave, you were talking about doing that, sponsored posts and things like that. It's got kind of a little bit different, I think, where you're creating a post, you're talking about something that's, maybe even how to do this or how to do that, and then you're linking to things that, tools or products or something that you've used along the way. So, Amazon affiliate marketing is a great, I think idea, similar kind of thing. I think it's quite easy for people to just do the Amazon affiliate one. Again, I've tried it. I haven't really had any success. I think you've got to be very consistent and have a lot of content and be, have a bit of a strategy around it, which I do not at the moment. Certainly would love to try it again though.
This actually gave me a thought. So when I was talking before about, creating a web page where you buy a book and that's all the traffic is fed to that website by Meta ads or Google ads or whatever it is. What I could do is take this affiliate approach as well and give some free information on that page uh, with affiliate links for people to click on. So there's, two different angles to A, pay back the advertising fees, and B, create additional SEO. So give away some information, get some links going, get some affiliate links going as well. And if they want to buy the book, they can buy the book. And you could do this really easily with like the Crypto Bible or
Hmm.
cryptobible.com or something like that, right? And then you have different subdomains for like the Ethereum Bible and the Bitcoin Bible and the XRP Bible and all the rest of it. You just create a whole bunch of books and different links, and they all link back to a CoinSpot affiliate page that allow you to do this or yeah, something around that. I think that's actually a really good idea um, to try
I
out.
think, yeah, you really, I think you nailed it there. It's that content, right? So having the content that people are gonna download, and it can be free. You don't have to charge people for this stuff. You can say, and it's, a classic lead magnet, right? You say, um, yeah, like you said, what the the Bitcoin Bible, you know, and then you talk about things, where to buy it, where to sign up for mining, like where to do this, where to do that, where to buy a hardware wallet. And that's another thing I was looking at was hardware wallets. Had affiliate links for Ledger and Trezor, different wallets, right? And I think I did actually make a little bit off one of those, but it was only like $30 or something. Um, but yeah, so you create that content, you create that Bible, like you said, and then you can actually link out to all those different things that are relevant. And I think depending what your niche is, like if you could do it as like say a personal trainer. If you're a personal trainer and you came across a sports supplements brand which had affiliate links. You create your meal plans, and you give away meal plans and nutrition guides, whatever, and then you include all these things like, we use this powder, we use this, and we recommend you have 30 grams of this and 5 grams of that, and blah blah blah. And then you put affiliate links in your nutrition guide, and you just get that away for free. And ideally, then, especially even better, if the supplement brand or sports supplement website, if they're giving affiliate links where people can subscribe and you get a continued revenue stream, then that's perfect, right? I think that's, yeah, I think if you find the right affiliate programs, I think you can make a lot of money. I think you can also burn yourself as well, especially where there's affiliate programs. Some of them only pay out if you make like $100 or something, right? Or you've got to make $100 for them to
As
pay
a
out. So every time you
minimum
make hundred
payout,
bucks,
yeah.
yeah. So it's a bit like Google AdSense, right? And I haven't mentioned Google AdSense in our notes, but again, that's something I've always played with. It's always just been on my websites, and I might make $30 a year in Google Ads, but it's that they've got a minimum payout of $100, I think. So, that $30 a year takes 3 years to get a payout from them.
I think we just had one more topic here to cover, which was automated crypto trading, which kind of feeds off nicely off the discussion we've just been having. Um, I've looked into this 1,000 times before. I've never pulled the trigger though, just because of the what I've heard from other people who have tried it and how they've had varying levels of success and varying levels of uh, non-success, I guess. But have you guys ever tried any automated crypto trading, trading bots and things like that?
I mean, I put in target buys to buy Bitcoin at certain prices, but that's it.
How about you, Ash?
So that was my note. Oh,
Yeah,
mate, yeah. I've got a love-hate story. Um, Around at the same time, that first month where I earned that 10 grand on CoinSpot, I took most of that 10 grand, bought Bitcoin, threw it over to Binance, and then set up an automated crypto platform. So the tool I was using was called Profit Trailer. It still exists. You can still buy it. It's still a good tool. I would still use it. I still do use it. I think even this year I was using it until I took some money out of my Bitcoin Binance account. Um, Certainly it's not a passive income stream at all. Yeah, I loaded up 10 grand onto my Profit Trailer account via Binance. And so what it basically does, it trades pairs. So for, on Binance, for example, you've got a Bitcoin pair. So Bitcoin will be paired with Ethereum or US dollars or all the different alternative coins or altcoins, if you will. So, TRX or Fun or XRP, for example, and these pairs trade, day in, day out, 24/7, just on the Binance exchange, right? And there's other ones like Poloniex, and I don't know if Poloniex still exists, but you know, even CoinSpot, I guess, all these different exchanges exist. But Profit Trailer effectively would hook into the APIs for those different exchanges. So obviously supported Binance. I think there's a few others that it supports as well. So there's like KuCoin and Kraken and a few others like that. I'm not sure if they've kept it up to date or not, but um, you would basically just scan over all the different pairs that I guess you have access to on that exchange. So if you've got access, if you say you want to use the BTC pairs as a base, then it will look at those pairs, and there might be on Binance there's only like 20 BTC pairs, whereas if you use BNB, which is the Binance coin, as your base coin, there's something like 200 different pairs that you can trade across. So if you set your bot up to use BNB on Binance, you've got 200 different things that it will look at and it will monitor. So I guess the at the fundamental thing, what it will do, it screens different pairs and it looks for opportunities to buy a pair that is currently underperforming. So if you look at a normal trading view graph or something like that, you've got things like Bollinger Bands, you've got moving averages and all different statistics on a trading pair. And if you're trending below where the average, then the profit trailer bot will basically, depending on how you've programmed it anyway, it'll say, "Oh, let's put a mark in the sand there and let's monitor it." And then if it goes a little bit lower than that and then starts to bounce back up, when it starts doing that bounce back up, it'll go, let's buy that. So it buys it, and then that's kind of like a trigger that it may start going even higher again. So the idea here is that it might go up 1%. You make 1%. So if you've got, say, $1,000 or $10,000 in your account, it goes up 1%. You've just made $10, right? And then the idea is it just keeps doing this day in, day out. So you might do 30 trades in a day, and you're not making 30%, but you're making, you know, 1% times 1% times 1%. It's just that cumulative compounding interest effectively. So if you've made, let's say, 30 bucks in a day, that's what, 3% on your working capital. If you make 3% every day, very quickly that adds up. What it doesn't account for is your losses. So the bot doesn't always get it right. So it's not passive. It is
Very
very
interesting. Yeah.
active, very active, very time consuming because you go to bed at night and you wake up in the morning and all of your training pairs are they're wrecked. So they're all red, right? And you've lost maybe 10-20% on some of these things. That completely obliterates any of the winnings or gains that you've made over the last week. So yes, you make lots of small wins, but you have to be ready to liquidate or sell very quickly. And you can put stop losses and things in there. The problem there is if you program the stop loss at a certain level, and there might be a better way of doing this. And certainly I never worked it out over, what is it, 2025? So 8 years I've been using this thing. I've never really been able to figure it out. But using stop losses to kind of set the level in the right spot, it there's ideally that should work, but what ends up happening is it'll go up and then it will come down a little bit and it'll trigger your stop loss. So it's bought it and then automatically it's kind of selling it. So you're just constantly hitting stop losses, you're constantly losing money. So I don't think the stop
Mm.
losses really work with these bots. You can do a trailing stop loss, which is awesome. So the idea there is if it starts going up and up and up, you can set a trailing stop loss. So the stop loss might be here, and as it moves up, it'll keep
Oh, I
shifting
see.
up that stop loss, which is really
That's
awesome
cool. Yeah.
because then you're locking in the profits, right? And that works really well. Um, but you have to find that formula to constantly get those winning trades, otherwise it just doesn't work. Because if you're
Mm.
just hitting stop losses all the time, you're losing money. If you're doing the stop loss where you've actually made money though, that's ideal. But you've yeah, configuring the bot to get that right is so hard, and it makes
Impossible.
it harder.
Yeah.
It's impossible when you consider things like economics, like the world economy. When you consider that, Bitcoin's having a bad day, Bitcoin
Trump
tanks,
tweets,
everything else tanks.
Elon tweets. Who knows
Oh,
what's going to
there's
change the market?
too much, too
Yeah, there's
much.
way too many
And
factors for me to try that. I'll leave
coins,
that to you, Ash.
nope, nah, they're no good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think it's danger zone, to be honest. But um,
I'm just gonna keep on stacking Bitcoin.
yeah, same. I think I'll just keep DCAing Bitcoin and hoping for the best in the long term. We'll wrap this up, guys. There's been some really good discussions here, covering a lot of different topics over the, side hustles that can actually make you some money and ones we've tried. Um, some really good options in there. And if you take, for example, as a learning experience, you want to, download this video from YouTube and plug it into AI and say, what are the best points from this video to help me build a side hustle? Maybe that's a side hustle that you can help someone else with. Just that on its own. If you want to, we've talked about lots of different things that have worked and not worked, that you guys can use for yourselves to try and make a bit of extra cash on the side, or crypto, whatever it is that you're chasing. It's been a really good discussion to have off the back of what we were talking about last week, and feeds really nicely into next week's topic, which is this the end of cash in Australia and actually all over the world? It's a major discussion that we've seen a lot of recently, or that I've seen a lot of popping up recently, with digital currencies sort of being the way to go, and the good and the bad side of that. So stick around for that. Thank you for watching. Please do subscribe, smash like, comment below if you have any questions, or you want to let us know. We'd love to see you guys in the comments, to see you recommending topics for us to talk about. We'll see you guys on the next video. Thanks for watching. Peace out.